Sure. Go ahead, sir.
If you could take it for a minute.
Got it. I got it. Shalom. Y'all by Shimmy y'all shot Barakatah to the brothers. Yahweh Shamar Latah by Shimmy y'all shot to the sisters. We are the ISUPK, started off 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. And what we do is teach blacks, Native American, well, so-called blacks, so-called Native Americans, and so-called Hispanics, the real Jews, who they are according to the Bible. Unlike how your Christian church has lied and deceived you with all these different lies, telling you that you're just a Gentile. No, you are actually the chosen people of the Most High God. You His favorite, right? You know how you got your favorite car, how you got your favorite color, you got your favorite this and your favorite that, your favorite food. Well, the Most High God has favorites. And Israel, we are here to tell you that you are the Most High God's favorite people. And your question might be, well, if I'm His favorite, why I'm going through this hell? You got to go through this hell because we chose not to follow His laws, statutes, and commandments. You got a father at home. You got a mama at home. If you don't follow your mama and your daddy rules in their household, guess what happened? Tail meets the belt. The tail shall meet the belt, right? Your parents are going to whoop your tail. And the Most High God is a father loving His children when these things happen to us. He's a father loving His children when you see these things going on in the street, right? You see these things happening in these streets. That's a father loving his children. Because if His children follow His ways, follow His laws, follow His commandments, then those things would cease, right? Our King will be sitting on the throne. Christ will be back, like, hey, we got this, right? They're gonna have to bow down to. We get into Revelation. They're gonna have to bow down to us. There's scriptures in this Bible that tell us to do some things, right? It tell us to humble ourselves and turn from our wicked ways. It tell us not to. What was just past Halloween, not to follow the ways of these people, of the oppressor, not to follow the ways of your oppressor. Right? You don't celebrate Halloween and birthdays and Christmases. Those are not the things that you are supposed to do, Israel. Right? And with you following those people, following those things, the Lord got to get you right. Got to check you. Got to put you in order. Got to get you to follow the traditions that He set up for us. He has to get us to follow the laws, the statutes, and the commandments that He set up for us, the ways that He set up for us. Right? Let me just give you a quick brief synopsis or something. Like, look at this Christian church. This Christian church, you have a LGBTQ pastor. You got an LGBTQ choir director. Half the church is LGBTQ, but the Bible speaks against LGBTQism. Yeah, I just made that up. Yeah, I did. It just, I just made it up right then and there. Stop being LGBTQism. Stop it.
God, if I may.
Please, sir.
Because the one consistent thing that all these different religions and philosophies have is they're all evil as hell. You know what I mean? Like, you're a Christian. Like, there's a man in the chat saying, praise Christ Jesus forever. Jesus is God. Like, the KKK are good Christians. Donald Trump is a good Christian. Child molesters, drug dealers, they are all good Christians. You know what I mean? And when you're bringing up, like things like this holiday that just passed, Halloween, I'm seeing videos all over of these kids being absolute monsters.
Monsters.
On Halloween. And it's like all these different philosophies that people follow outside of the Bible, they're all evil as hell. And we see so much destruction on this earth because of it. It's like it's about time that, we let somebody else rule this earth. You know what I mean? You tell everybody to go celebrate Halloween, and what do? They go out at night, they get drunk, they kill somebody because they're drinking while driving. They're out having orgies and sex parties, taking every whatever drug known to man, getting high out of their mind. You know what I mean? Like this is what you do following the philosophies of Europeans, following the philosophies of these different religions. They're over in France right now. No, not France. China. China is getting rid of all the Muslim mosques inside of China, because they're saying that this Muslim religion, you know what I mean, has people acting absolutely crazy. Everybody recognizes these philosophies are evil as hell.
Damn right.
And so we definitely got to reevaluate the way we look at life. You know what I mean? This class, this topic today, you know, speaking on these invisible churches, it's again this idea where if you would just read the Bible and listen to it and follow it, you would pick up so much information that would change this world. You know what I mean? And you have European Christians forcing down their ideologies, teaching Blacks, Hispanics to be good slaves. You're a good Christian if you forgive the person beating you. Every Christian can recite, forgive your enemy. Every Black Christian will use that verse to say this is why we should love white people. And you still carry on that garbage ideology that was taught to you in slavery. This is what they taught your ancestors. Forgive your enemy, forgive your slave master. They taught Black slaves, don't steal. If you were a slave inside of America, you probably know this, Abuan. If you were a slave and you pretended to be sick.
So you call me a slave?
if you were a slave and it's like today you call in work sick, but you're pretending to be sick. If you did that while you were a slave, you would be charged for stealing because you're stealing labor from the slave owner. And these people force this religion down your throat. And in 2025, you still say Jesus is God. You still say forgive your enemy as if you should obey your slave master. Yeah, go ahead.
So a couple things popped out to me while you were saying that, sir. You know, one is Maccabees 6, 2 Maccabees chapter 6, right?
Yeah.
You know, that popped out. And another thing is you said that our people was charged with stealing labor.
Yeah.
Let me hold my tongue. By some individuals that stole people and land.
Yeah.
So you still labor, right?
You belong to them.
Huh?
You belong to them. You're not allowed not to work.
You stole some labor. You said you were sick when you wasn't sick.
Imagine
you might have been sick. You might have been sick. You know, you might have been sick. And with being sick, hey, I can't come in to work today. As soon as you say I can't come in to work today, you're fired.
Yep.
You're fired. You can't, you know, and then with some of the ordeals that's going on in the American government right now to get fired is a tough time. Because, you know, a couple years ago, you get fired, you find another job, right? You found another job. I don't know if it's the same over there in your neck of the woods, in the northern north. And actually, you're the southern north. Because you're south of Detroit. So compared to us, you're the southern north. But
it's very similar.
Yeah, so you get fired now. You never know when you're gonna get another job. And here in America, after you've worked for so long, they'll give you a little bit of change in 26 weeks. That's what unemployment does. They give you 26 weeks if you get approved for it, because you got to get approved for it. They give you 26 weeks in order to get you, find you another job. They'll throw you a little stipend, a couple dollars a week if you get approved for it, because there's certain things that you can get fired from your job that they want to approve you for. Your job can fire you and say that you did something against company policy. and they won't give you unemployment.
If
And
I
it's
could,
that big.
if I could,
Please.
because that I want to stay right there on that point
Mhm.
because like it goes right in hand with this topic. You have to understand that America was built off of free labor. They were built off of slaves.
Mhm.
And as time was going on, Europeans understood that, these black people and Hispanic people, they're causing too much trouble for us because they keep gathering together and trying to overthrow, this government. And they had to come up with a way to keep their society running. And they did that before they freed you. You couldn't be free in America until you accepted certain ideologies.
Damn right.
You couldn't be free in America until they had a system in place to keep this government running, to keep the country running. That's why you can't call in sick. You know what I mean? Like, you're only going to get certain amount of days off per week because they have to work you like a slave. That's how their country runs. You know what I mean? And so it's like you almost want to say that in 2025, this slavery is worse.
It works.
You know what I mean? Like I'll give you a perfect example. One of the things that Europeans were afraid of while they had you in slavery was you developing your own economy to where you didn't have to rely on them.
Mm-hmm.
And so they try to put systems in place to keep you working for them. What happens when you see a place like Rosewood build up, Black Wall Street build up?
Yes, sir.
They bomb it because you're getting ready to destroy their government. They need you working for them. They need you to accept Martin Luther King saying, let's integrate and work for them and build their society. You have to be a good slave. You have to be mentally destroyed. Because if you're not mentally destroyed and accept their ideologies, their kingdom falls. Salaki.
No, and that's heavy what you're saying, because I was just looking at a story on Black Wall Street. And what I learned is that Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma, in the 1910s, 20s. Think about this: when Tulsa, Oklahoma was bombed in 1921, right? In 1921. Now let's bring all the things that we brought out a bunch of things over the last couple of weeks for class, right? We brought out the Red Summer in 1919, right? We brought out the what was that? We brought out the Black Plague, what do you call it? The Spanish flu, and from 1919 to almost 1921, right? These were the things that were going on in not just America, but across the world. And with these things going on across the world, they still looked at you as being nothing but cattle, right? Nothing but cattle. Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1920, 1921, had the largest bank in America. Think about this. Think about a bank now, the largest bank in America, right? Silicon Valley just shut down, what was that, a couple years ago? They had the 16th largest bank, the 15th largest bank, or something like that, and they had to close up, right? Because the tech world was going crazy at the time. So understand is that Black people created the largest bank in America in 1919, 1920, 1921, right? You know what that means? The largest bank in America. So out the entire country, the largest bank in America was Black owned. Another thing I learned is that even though it was the largest bank in America, it was the second largest bank in the world.
Damn.
The second largest bank in the world, Black owned, Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921. Right? So remember, the Christians always give you that scripture about being the lender and not the borrower. That's why Tulsa, Oklahoma was bombed. Right? That's why they flew over and dropped bombs out of their flying devices and then unalived individuals that they fled for their lives. Your people, these individuals, these true, the real Jews, the chosen people of the Most High God, right? The oppressor flew over. Now understand this, 1919, 1920, 1921. This is 60 years, 65 years after slavery. 65 years after slavery. So 65 years after you didn't have nothing. After you were under the foot of your oppressor, getting your back beat, right? Getting your back beat. 65 years you built the largest bank in America, the second largest bank in the world. They can't leave you alone. What if they leave you alone for 100 years, right? They can't leave you alone. That's why they have to destroy your cities. That's why you have cities like Rosewood, right? That's how you have cities like Seneca Village. Understand, Seneca Village was a prominent Black community. And in Seneca Village, right, during that time, you had to, in order for you to vote, you had to be a homeowner. Now, this is a predominant Black community, predominant homeowners, Black folk. So guess what they got to do? Vote, right? They don't want you voting. There's a reason why they don't want you voting. Now, we don't believe in voting. Voting doesn't change anything for us, right? We are not putting another king over us that is not of our people. Our king, our one and only king, Yahweh Shai, right? Not to say if my brother right here, Shar Yawan, was to run for president, I would probably get down there and vote for him. I was like, man, you know we ain't supposed to do this, but seriously, it's like the issue is we're putting people up over us. We're putting people up over us who don't give a damn about us. Right? It's people, it was households arguing and fighting over Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, right? It was people arguing and fighting over Joe Biden and Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton in their own household. Right? The Bible already says your enemy will be those of your own household, but now y'all fighting over people that don't give a damn about you to rule over you. That sounds insane, don't it? Yeah. It sounds insane, right? You know, and the church, the modern day church backs this mess, right? Look what happened in the church just recently in Detroit, right? Detroit. If y'all familiar with it, young lady got in the line. She was giving the church $1,200, but it was the $2,000 line. That was the minimum to get in the line. $2,000. Good, you know what I told that pastor when he told me it's a $2,000 line. You got $1,200. It's a $2,000 line. Man, F you, give me my money. Let's go to the gun range. Now I'm about to go buy some guns, Pastor, so I can protect me and my family. I'm about to go buy some food with this $1,200. She apologized, right? But look at this. Sorry, Roland, I got to show you something else. God. We just heard about a pastor locking the doors till they get the offering to a certain amount. Yeah. These folk are robbing you without a gun. They don't need no gun to rob you because you are mentally hooked on a drug that you cannot get away from. And I like to say Christianity is a hell of a drug. Yeah. Right? It's the only look, you think about it is you hooked on it and don't know that you hooked on it. You hooked. A crackhead know he hooked on crack, and he knows crack ain't good for him. He knows crack's not good. This crack cocaine is not good for him. The cocaine wasn't good for me. Now I mixed it with some baking soda and rocked it up. It still ain't good for me. Right? A drug addict knows. He knows that heroin, when he put that needle in his arm, he knows every single time this is destroying me. This is killing me. Right? I shouldn't be doing this, but I got an addiction. So I continue to do it. But Christians don't understand that Christianity is destroying, and Christianity is why your father is in jail. Christianity is why your son is laid out in the middle of the street with a 40 millimeter round through his brain. That's what Christianity does. Christianity is the reason why your daughter is getting beat by her white boyfriend, right? This is Christianity. Christianity is the reason why you're doing that, right? Christianity is the reason why slaves, no matter how much they master beat them, and no matter how many of them there were, they wouldn't rebel because of Christianity. And I said this the other day. I said Christians love everything about Christianity except slavery. And I might need to recant that statement because I think they love slavery too.
Yeah, if I may,
please.
To that point, like we gotta understand that the reason the Christian church gets to thrive is because it's a place where it allows you to do all the evils that you want to do. You understand? Like, as we do these classes and teach people the truth of the Bible, you hear something like a pastor holding people up for $2,000. Anybody in their right mind is gonna say, damn, that's an evil, wicked place to be. So it doesn't hurt us. It doesn't hurt the people that follow the Lord. It doesn't hurt the people that are truly following Christ. You're a brother or sister who's caught up in that garbage, you know what I mean, because your parents told you to be there. You're going to sit there and see all the evil shit that's going on in that Christian church, and you're going to walk out that door. We're never going to look back. A lot of the people in that Christian church, they're there because they want to be there. That pastor's up there on that pulpit, encouraging them to do all the wicked shit that they always do. And that's why that church thrives.
And then they baptize them.
Yeah. they happily do it. You know what I mean? They happily do it.
If I may, sir, Baba Kashal, sir, if you could,
yep.
I see we have some people commenting and some people punching in. You mind going through that?
I got you. So we got Sister Nada Ba, Carolyn Radsville,
Shalom,
Elder
shalom,
Charles. We got Maria, Nasha Gabar.
Yes, sir.
Shalom, Akim Yabashim Shabakatham, Yahweh Shemar Tham Bashim El Shad, to the sisters. And then we got I believe a man named Robert Tucker, who just said, praise Christ Jesus forever. Repent, believe in Christ Jesus to receive eternal life right now. That is exactly what everybody in the ISUPK has done.
Hey, Robert Tucker, if I may, please, just for my benefit, let us know what your ethnicity is. Just let us know. Slide that to us, please. Just, for our benefit, so we can know how to help you with any questions or comments that you may have. And if anybody else have any questions or comments, please slide those right on in the notifications. Another thing, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the class. If you ain't hit that like button, please hit it now. If you ain't hit the share button, please hit it now, right? Subscribe, go ahead. It's just one button. Matter of fact, you can just the flick of the wrist, bam, bam, bam. That's all it takes, right? That's all it takes, right? So, sir, let's say this. Let's say this, right? The name of this class is The Invisible Church, right? The Invisible Church. And my question, I just want to throw this out there. Why do you believe that the church, not going into the topic about what we're going to talk about, but why do you believe that the church is invisible to the Black community now?
That's an interesting question.
Well, I can give my side of it if you like.
Why is it invisible? My best guess today would just be that, there is so many, let me put it this way, if I could say the rulers at B, or the powers that be. Like it says in the book of Ephesians,
Mhm.
you know, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, meaning our fight isn't against blacks, Hispanics, and indigenous.
Mhm.
I mean, our fight isn't against our family, our nation, the children of Israel. But we wrestle against rulers, the dark rulers of this world. You know what I mean? Powers in high places. And these people who are in high places will do everything in their power to hide this truth from you.
Damn right.
You know what I mean? Like you'll see us, we'll get shut down. They'll shut down our page because you know we said shit too many times in a class. Meanwhile, they'll let who Snoop Dogg say F this, F that, smoke weed, do lines of coke in a music video off of a sister's ass, and they'll never be shut down.
Never.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So to think that, you know, you're saying something wrong because you said fuck is very childish. You know what I mean? It's very silly to think that. We are at an absolute war. And there are people who will do everything they can to hide what we say, you know, from our people. And so that's really the only thing, you know what I mean, why I would say that the quote unquote church is invisible. The real church is invisible.
Understood. If I may, sir.
Yeah, come on, go ahead.
And what you're saying is so heavy to the, especially the point where you spoke about words, right? You said Snoop Dogg can say whatever he want. You know, understand this is that there is a white woman putting on blackface, the one that you know said what she say, broke ass niggas, right? The white woman that got popular for saying broke ass niggas. I forget what her name is, right? Understand this, she can say that, which is racist and derogatory coming from her mouth. And she can do it in blackface.
Yeah.
And she can do it in blackface, right? And if you want me to, I'll go over there and pull a video up. But she can do it in blackface and then not get banned.
Now let me give you the flip side.
Please.
If you share a link to a book, that's it. You don't even gotta fucking say anything, Ahabuai. If you share a link to a book
on Amazon
that has anything to do with us, you are going to be fined millions of dollars.
Yes, sir.
Hundreds of millions of dollars. That should be a red flag. You know what I mean? To do, you know, to go to that extent. You know what I mean? There was a book. I remember I have a book list on Amazon. I always send it to my rib anytime there's a book that I want to purchase, because as you know, our sisters love to shop. You know what I mean? So I tell my rib, I put her to work. I say, hey, there's a good book that I need. There's a good book I want to read, and she adds this list of books that she's just waiting for money to come in so we can purchase it. There was a book that I think it was maybe 6 years ago. Was it 7? Maybe 7 years ago, that I wanted to purchase, and it cost maybe $46. That book last year, I think it was around $560. And I remember thinking, like, God damn. It's nothing deep. It's not some deep book. But just because it has some information that can actually change a Black, Hispanic, or Indigenous man's life, nobody's going to go buy that fucking book for $500. You know what I mean? And, you know, Cap Cazar, they'll tell you similar things. They'll see books that now cost $2,000. Apps that were once free in, I think Cambridge University used to have that Negro land map. I think they still have them.
Yes, sir.
But to get the actual copies now, they're like $2,000. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Like, they really go out of their way to keep this knowledge from Blacks, Hispanics, and Indigenous people.
That's heavy.
That's
We
the opposite. You know what I mean?
remember the saying used to be, if you want to have something from a nigga, put it in the book.
God.
Now you got to add a little extra to it because these niggas them came out. Now if you want to have something from a nigga, put it in the book and charge the shit out of them for it.
God.
You have to do it because eventually, guess what happened? What's going to happen? We're going to get the money to get that book. We're going to come together and we're going to get one copy of that book at the school, and we're going to run those copies to every the school.
God.
They don't want us doing that. It was like, you know what? It reminds me of the movie 12 Years a Slave when he's like, are you a nigga or an engineer? Like, damn, you can't be both?
God.
You can't be both, right? Like the white man can't fathom you being above him. He loses his goddamn mind knowing that a nigga is above him in any aspect of the game. And the proof is that it was better to be poor white. It was better to be a poor white man than it is to be a rich black man in this America. It's damn near, it's almost safer. Look how crazy that is. It's safer. We go to, you find stories like, what's that? The one in Mississippi, Delta Mississippi University, the young brother they found hanging from the tree, right? It's rumored that his legs and his arms was broken. And then the police said he unalived himself, right? So the police in Delta, Mississippi said he unalived himself. So when the family got together and did their own private autopsy, they found out his legs and his arms was broke. How can you unalive yourself after you break your legs and your arms?
Right.
You know, you found the truckers, the brothers that's missing in running through the Carolinas, right? We got black folk, you know, you got hundreds of black women that come up missing every damn day. Wake up, black people, Native American people, Hispanic people. We have to wake up. You got to wake up. Come to the ISUPK and get your brain washed from all the dirt that Christianity and this American government has filled it with. Right? You looking at that picture and you seeing Christ, right? You seeing Christ with pale face, long stringy blonde hair, and blue eyes. And your Bible does not depict him as that. And if they lie to you about what Christ looks like, what else have they lied to you about? I say this all the time. What else have they lied to you about? If they lied to you about just say this, right? What if I lied to you about what your father looked like? So you, not only are you growing up upset at the wrong nigga, right? You're upset at the wrong man, but at the same time is, when you get older, you was like, I gotta go find this man. I gotta apologize to him because I was angry at him with nothing. And you show up, oh nigga, I ain't your daddy. Mm-hmm. How embarrassing is that, right? Not just embarrassing. It's like, dang, mom, you done told me this was my pops my whole life. We gotta be like, dang, grandma, dang, granddad, you done told us this was Christ our whole life. Come on, stop. When are you gonna stop lying to me? When you gonna stop, pastor? You done told me this was Christ my entire life. I was a little kid clapping my hands in the choir. And you had the white Jesus sitting up there. And I was like, look at this white man. My Lord and Savior. Right? My Lord and Savior. And then at the same time, you hear it all the time that black men ain't shit. Niggas ain't shit. Right? All of them dogs. These are the things that they're pushing into your mental as you grow up. You not knowing that as you're growing up, they kidnapping the black man. Basically, matter of fact, they didn't have to kidnap him. What it is that the white man could weaponize anything. And all he did was weaponize the mother to push the black man out the house. By saying, I'm gonna give you government assistance. I'm gonna give you food assistance. The government shut down, sis. Where that government assistance at? Right? We just had a food drive Saturday. Right? We fed a bunch of folk. We fed people so fast that we ran out of food to give away. Think about it. And it wasn't like we were out there all day. The food was gone in right? Because the government has did what? Shut down and threatening your what they call it, the SNAP benefits.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Just immediately snap that away from you. So if the government can do that fast, that quickly, what else can this government do that is going to destroy you, black man, Native American, Hispanic man? It's so heavy about what you're saying, sir, because you said you brought the scripture out that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but the scripture said we wrestle against principalities from among high. These are laws that govern us, right? These are the laws and the statutes that this American government follows. Because understand is that it was legal to call you a nigga and hang you from the tree. Mm-hmm. It's still, if you look at what's going on in society now, it looks like it's still legal now. You just, no witnesses. As long as you ain't got no witnesses, it's legal to hang a nigga.
If I could, like they're finding us, being hung all over the South right now.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it was in Virginia, I believe. Yeah, Virginia was, one of the places that started those laws where, if you were caught reading as a slave, that one of the punishments was you'll get 39 lashes. You'll get hung from a tree. You'll get burned alive. These are things that they set in Virginia. Also that you wouldn't, read the Bible. If I could, I'll give you a perfect example. This could actually segue a little into the class. If you could grab First Maccabees chapter 1.
Hey, sir, I was gonna pull Second Maccabees 6.
Yeah, grab First Maccabees 1. Start at verse 55. Because another thing you said so heavy is that these Europeans they'll weaponize anything. Something that is so evil that our oppressors did was weaponize the Bible.
Damn right.
They taught us what they taught us from this book was to hate each other. They taught you how to hate your brother in your heart. Literally. That's what Christianity teaches you to do. I'll give you an example. They would hire European preachers to come to your plantation and teach you the Bible. And when they taught you the Bible, they had to omit certain scriptures. Mm-hmm. Your slave owner would tell your preacher what to teach the slaves so that they could keep you in line. They would give you things like the slave Bible, where they omit the Old Testament. The Old Testament teaches you how to be a brother.
Yes,
teaches you how to be a sister. Not to put your hands on people, not to steal a man, not to steal from one another, not to sell drugs to your people. That's what the Old Testament teaches you. That's what all the laws are, how to be a good brother. And they took that away from you and told you to love the slave owner. Mm-hmm. That's what they did. You know what I mean? And not just that, as I say today, they're going around, trying to hide information from you, making books cost $2,000. All of this stuff has always been done. If you could read that,
Okay. This is the first, this is the book of Maccabees. First book of Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse, what is this? 55? And burnt incense at the door of their houses and in the streets. 56. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the laws which they found, they burnt them with fire.
So these Greeks, these Romans going around ripping the Bible, the Torah, you know what I mean, or they want to say Torah, the book of the law. They're ripping this book in pieces because they don't want blacks to read this book. Same thing in slavery, Virginia. They're passing laws because they don't want, people like Nat Turner to read the Bible and feel inspired.
Damn right.
You saw in Haiti the Haitian Revolution, Toussaint Louverture. They read the Bible and they went to war against their oppressors. They're reading the book of Exodus where God is freeing them from the Egyptians, freeing them from hard bondage. They don't want the Bible to inspire you, black man. They don't want it to inspire you, but they'll hire a European preacher to tell you to love your enemy, to love the people that mistreat you, to love the man that's whipping your back. Keep reading.
Go on, sir. 57. And whosoever was found with any the books of the testament, or if any committed to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death.
Damn. Now imagine that. They did that 2,000 years ago, Avoy. You're caught reading this goddamn book. If you're caught reading the Bible, you're going to be put to death. You know what they did to you, black man in America? If you read this book, they burned your eyes out of your sockets.
Damn right.
They hung you from a tree. They burned you alive and fed you to pigs. You're not allowed to read this Bible because this Bible is going to inspire you to be free. That's why it's called an invisible church, because slaves were going around trying to hide from their slave master and read this book and worship their God.
If I could pull a scripture, sir.
Come on, go ahead.
This is the book of Maccabees, the second book of Maccabees, chapter 6, starting at 4. It says, matter of fact, I started at 3. The coming in of the mischief was sore and grievous to the people. Right? Verse 4. For the temple was filled with riot and revealing by the Gentiles. Now that Gentile is talking about the other nations, not our people that don't believe.
Right.
Who dallied with harlots. Think about what's going on in the church now. Right? And had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places. And besides that, brought in the things that were not lawful. So they brought these things that were not lawful into the church. Verse 5. Into the synagogue. Verse 5. To the tabernacle. The altar was also filled with profane things which the law forbid. 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep the Sabbath days or ancient fasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. Right? Is that not what was going on now? They're calling you anti-Semitic, and you're not attacking these individuals. You just put out a book. Say, hey, read this book. And now they're calling you anti-Semitic because you wanted to read a book.
That's such a heavy verse. You know what I mean? Like they'll do things like I think it was a pope. One of the popes said, we're gonna, instead of celebrating this winter solstice holiday, we're gonna make December 25th be Christ's birthday, and we'll put that in the church, and y'all will celebrate it. When it just said that you couldn't keep your feast days. They're putting swine inside the temple. Your pastor's telling you today, celebrate Christmas, celebrate Halloween, eat pork, it's good for you. Keep the Sabbath on Sunday. They're putting this in the temples as if, you know what I mean, to force their culture onto you.
If I may, sir.
Come on, go ahead.
Verse 21. It says, and this is in the second Maccabees, chapter 6, verse 21. But they that had the charge of that wicked feast, for the old acquaintances they had with the man, taking him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own provision. Right. So this is after they tried to feed him the swine's flesh, and he wouldn't take it. So now he want to do, I want to get the flesh of my own provision, which means he's trying to get something lawful. Right. Let me jump down. It says, such as was lawful for him to use, and make as if he did eat of the flesh taken from the sacrifice, commanded the king. So if you read here, they're trying to get him to eat the swine's flesh. He didn't want to eat the swine's flesh because it goes against God. So what they did was they said, we'll give you some lawful meat. Yeah. You eat that, we just pretend that it's swine. To convince, so that you could convince others. Think about this. Yeah. Right? These big time millionaires talking about go vote or die. That's what's going on right here. Right? Vote or die. So they don't care about you, the big rich individual. This guy right here was a leader. Right? We don't want you, we don't care if you eat it or not, but we want the masses to eat it. Yeah. We want the masses to believe that you ate swine's flesh, that you ate some pig ears, some pig feet. That's what we want the masses to believe, right? Understand that the Most High God, why is it so prevalent? I mean, why is it so encouraging to the oppressor that you eat swine's flesh, that you eat the pig? Why does he want you to eat the pig so bad? Because he wants you to eat the pig badly, because he knows that goes into your body and it is an abomination to God, right? Imagine the Lord give you all these wonderful good things to eat on this earth, and you want a shit sandwich. Think how destructive it is not only to you mentally, but to you physically, right? Eating things that are unlawful are destructive to you mentally, physically, spiritually. And then other people around you, if you're in leadership position, other people around you are seeing you do this. That's why you get so many people eating pork bacon at the prayer festival, the prayer breakfast at the church. Right? The church is supposed to lead and guide. The church was there to lead and guide us through these scriptures. But like you said earlier, the oppressor has weaponized it to destroy you, Black man, Native American man, Hispanic man. Right? You want me to pull up one of these articles, sir?
Yeah, Khan. Let's I didn't have enough time to look through your articles.
That's cool. We can go through yours.
Yeah, Salaki. Was it all on invisible churches too?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I got yeah, let's go through one of the articles I had sent. I can pull it up.
Which one you want me to get?
You see that last one I sent you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's go through that one. That'll break down everything about invisible churches.
Okay. So this, let's see where this is from. You pulling the article up?
Yeah, I'll pull it up on my screen.
If not, this article was written October 27th, 2024. The name of the article is on a platform called Talk African. What?
Yep.
Okay. Name of the article is Invisible Churches: How Enslaved Africans in the U.S. restricted their owners' obedience doctrine. Resisted their owners' obedience doctrine. Right. So what it's saying is that they didn't want to take or accept the slave Bible, right? They wanted to go and search out the truth for themselves, right? So during the era of American slavery, Christians became both a tool of oppression, a tool for oppression, and a source of hope from enslaved African Americans. Slave owners leveraged the Christian faith, twisting its message to reinforce submission and obedience to them. Out of necessity, slaves developed invisible churches, hidden gatherings where they could practice their faith outside the controlling eye of their masters.
Which is heavy because our ancestors understood. They understood something. They understood that let me put it this way. Our ancestors understood that the oppressor is the devil.
Damn right.
You know what I mean? And when they're sitting there trying to teach them this book, they wanted nothing to do with it. So much so, they're hiding and creating these invisible churches or these gatherings where they could come together and read the Bible without the oppressor forcing his garbage down their throats. And now imagine you're in slavery, you're sitting here, picking cotton in a cotton field, and you see your oppressor come out and take your babies inside of a church.
Or your rib.
Right? Your rib, whoever it may, you're a man sitting there picking cotton, and you see them grab your rib, your wife, your kids, and bring them inside a church, and they start teaching something to them. Do you know how evil that is? You know how wicked and disgusting and foul that is?
Mm-hmm.
You think that you're going to be sitting there as a black man being oppressed, thinking something good is going to come happen, or something good is happening from this man who's whipping our backs every day? Hell no.
If I may, sir.
Come on, go ahead.
And what's heavy about that is that understand this, Israel, that you're in the fields picking cotton, praying to the Most High God for your release.
Right.
How can you be praying to the same God as the slave owners? Because he's not praying for your release. He's praying for you to make some more little slave babies so he can whip their ass too.
Yeah, that's heavy because you look at that spiritually and you see blacks and whites inside of the same church today. You are not praying for the same thing.
It's not.
Like that white boy that's sitting in the church beside you, he's not praying to God for all the wealth in the world. He already has it.
Hey, let me ask you another question.
Okay, go ahead.
What did Dylan Roof pray for that day?
Yeah.
Dylan Roof sat in a church with 9 parishioners, right? And he had a backpack full of guns, right? What was he praying for? Because I don't think those black folk that he unalived was praying for him to continue to shoot.
Yeah, that's so diabolical right there. You know what I mean? And that further goes to your point you were speaking on earlier. Like, we don't have anything in common with our oppressor.
No, we don't.
I mean, like the scriptures say, every beast loveth his life.
Yes.
They're not going to be praying for the same things you're praying for. A good example is look at Ukraine and Russia. Mm-hmm. You're watching Ukrainians sit there and pray to God that they win the war. They're in tears on their knees begging God that they win. You know what that means? That means Russians have to die. Russians have to be unalived. Meanwhile, Russians sitting there praying to God that they're victorious. You know what that means for the Russians praying? Ukrainians have to die. So what? Everybody's praying to the same God? Like, what are we doing here?
Peace on earth.
Good night. Your peace means somebody else has to die.
Somebody has to die.
That's not peace for Russians. You pray for Palestine, that means Jewish people have to die.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it goes. You know what I mean? You can't be a black man sitting there praying to God right beside a European inside of the church. You guys are praying for two different things. Because
Hey,
the
sir.
minute you start getting some money and getting ahead in life, that means that European man's business is going under.
Yes.
Black businesses start doing better. That means the McDonald's is going out of business.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Think about this. If you want to bring and start, I'm gonna call something crazy, a black automotive manufacturer. If you want to create a black automotive, if you praying to God to bring forth a black automotive manufacturer, that means that one of these white automotive manufacturers got to go out of business.
That's right.
It's that simple.
That's simple.
Got to go out of business. You can't go buy Bourbons and Lex no more. You got to buy the Pookies and the Ray Rays, convertible Ray Ray. That's what you got to go buy. Big body Pookie. You got to go buy that, right? If you want the black automotive manufacturer to come forth, right? So it's so heavy what you're saying. Think about this. A child is SA in life, right? And every one of us know a child has been SA, right? Do you pray for the child? Yes.
Yep.
You pray for that child to get through what it's been through. Well, at the same time is, if you love that child, you have to hate that person that did that to that child, right? Because one is that you don't want another child to have to go through this, right? So you have to do something to do what? Protect the child. You can't protect the child by allowing you can't protect the victim by allowing the victimizer to roam freely.
That's right. That's right. It was good to see I think that was the sister's name was Sonia Massey.
Or her father.
Her father, saying he's not going to stop until he gets justice. His justice is destroying another man's life.
Yeah.
Rightfully. That's justice.
Destroying another man's life.
He gets justice. That man's family will never see him again.
Yep. His kid's going to grow up without a daddy.
That's right.
That's justice for Sonia Massey's father. To see that man that unalived his daughter's kids grow up without a father, right? To see that man who unalived his daughter's wife, right, begging for loose change.
Yep.
That's justice. When we go to the second part, sir?
Yeah, let's keep going on this.
It says the role of religion in enslavement. Christianity was introduced to African slaves shortly after they arrived in the Americas. Although they initially practiced African traditional religion, their exposure to Christianity over time reshaped their beliefs. Slaveholders, look, they call them slaveholders now, however, seized upon the new faith as a way to control the slaves.
Yeah.
They organized regular, supervised church service where white preachers were hired to preach selected Bible verses that emphasized obedience to master. One former slave, Taylor, recounted how his owner brought in a white preacher whose sermon echoed a single thing: slaves should respect their masters and never steal.
And it always baffles me how in 2025 you can sit there and be a Christian and still believe the doctrine that was taught to your ancestors. Like it is one thing to, say something like Jesus is God. But it's another thing to still sit there and say, if a man breaks into my house, I should do nothing but pray for him. That's and I don't know if it's the same in Detroit, One, but I always ask Black people this question in Toronto, and it always, like, I think I'm 100% right now. I'm like 50 for 50. I'm not missing. If I ask a Black man, you know, what would you do if somebody broke into your house, or what should you do if somebody breaks into your house and is about to harm your family? Every single Black Christian said the same thing. Well, I don't know what I would do when it happened. I might beat his ass. I might pull a gun out, but I know the right thing to do is to just pray for him.
I'm gonna tell you this, sir. Right? And I know you probably never heard me talk like this before.
God.
With you being such a great, honorable man, that if someone was to break into my house and attempt to harm my family, I'm gonna do this. I'm going to arrange the meeting for their judgment to go forth. You'll meet up with God. Starts now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as you rightfully should.
That's if you want to see.
And that's the statement of a free man.
Yes,
because
sir.
every white Christian will say the same thing. I haven't asked a white Christian that didn't say they wouldn't defend their family. I'm not saying they're not out there. I'm just saying I'm 50 for 50. Like I'm shooting 100% right now. Everyone I've asked all said they would defend their household.
Guess what? That's why you would you being 50 for 50? That's why you fired twice. That's it. I'm gonna get you with one of these.
Yeah, it's very sad to see Blacks, Hispanics, and Indigenous still believe that this slave doctrine. You know what I mean? They all, like, you know, every Black Christian has 2, maybe 3 verses memorized.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for God so loved the world and forgive your enemy. Like, I don't think a Black person knows any other verse in the Bible.
You know, that's heavy what you're saying right there, sir, because if you know, you got to understand the scripture says that Christ is going to return in the vesture dipped in blood, right? Paraphrasing. So that means he's going to unalive some folk. And I asked every Christian this, who is he going to unalive?
Right.
And they never can give me an answer. Right? We know that Christ's going to start with the people that's spirit him in the side. That's what we know. He's going to start with them people. Right? And what you going to say? It was only 2? No. He's going to start with them people.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, I'll say one more thing, because if anybody could get something, get this. The brothers and sisters in the ISUPK, we are free men and women. Like Christ said, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. You know what the opposite of being free is? You are a slave. You are not free. You are not a free man. You are destroyed mentally. And until you know this truth, you are going to continually be a slave.
Mm-hmm.
And Europeans, they said it right here. They used Christianity as a means to oppress you. That's what they did. And you should at least have enough sense to say, okay, what is it that they taught us, that they taught slaves to oppress us?
That Christ was white?
Yeah. You should at least know that. because then you can at least tell yourself this is how they destroyed my ancestors. And this is at least the part of the Bible I shouldn't trust, or I should take a second look at. Because every Black, Hispanic, and indigenous man who's Christian today, they'll all say the same thing. They will all say that, well, those weren't real Christians, or those men didn't really follow the Bible. They took the Bible and they used it for evil. They're not real Christians. They'll all say that.
If I may, please, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Another thing that Christians say, when you bring out we bring out the color scriptures.
Right.
They'll say Christ ain't have no color.
Right.
Right. I say, so if Christ didn't have a color, Judas wouldn't have to point him out. He'd be the only colorless nigga there. Right? Judas ain't have to play. Yeah. He had to kiss him on the cheek. Right? He wouldn't have to do that because, we looking for a nigga without no color. Mm-hmm. Right? Then, if Christ was a devil, he would be he would have been amongst a bunch of brothers, and they'd be like, "Oh, that's the one.
God.
That's the one." Judas wouldn't have to turn him in because they had know what he looked like. Understand is that one thing I always hear racist devils say is that they all look alike. That's why Christ had to be pointed out by I like to call him a Stephen. You ain't seen Django yet, so you don't know Stephen. He had to be turned in by somebody that was by one of us that was against us.
Yeah.
Right? Your Christian church. Your Christian pastor is one of us that's against us. That's why he tells you that Christ is white, that obey this oppressor, right? You got Israelite groups saying Trayvon Martin should have listened to that white man. Mm. You got fake Israelite groups that said that wear fringes on the bottom of their t-shirts that look like mini skirts that says Trayvon Martin should have listened to that white man. Trayvon Martin was trying to get away from him. Listen to the recordings. When the white man ran up on him, Trayvon Martin started to defend himself. Got the best of the white man, and the white man pulled out a firearm and unalived Trayvon Martin because he said all these niggas get away and this one is not getting away.
And so why would they need to keep shackles on you when they got Black people telling their own people, slaves, obey your master?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Telling slaves obey your master is the same as telling you to integrate. Right? It's telling you to walk hand in hand. Slaves obey your master. Walk hand in hand with this white man. Right? Slaves obey your master. Go vote for this white man. Right? Slaves obey your master. Celebrate Christmas. You still a slave, obeying your master when you do these things. Right? Slaves obey your master. Oh, the Sabbath is Sunday. You still obeying your master. Stop being a slave, Black man, Native American man, Hispanic man. Come to the truth, right? Come listen to these scriptures that we teach out here in the Isupk. Find a near school near you, right? Go there and say, help me become a free man too. Sir?
Yep. Let's keep reading.
Okay. American slaveholders, but it says American slaveholders used these selective Bible passages to promote a version of Christianity that reinforced their authority, teaching enslaved Africans to be submissive and obedient. This selective preaching was intended to support the continualization of slavery by convincing their slaves that it was their duty, according to the religious teachings, to obey their master and accept their position. The preacher.
And imagine, Salaki, you in 2025, you're about to go vote for your next master.
Vote for
You got,
your
you got Donald Trump sitting there trying to stop certain elections, and Lord knows what he's about to do. But how are you gonna sit here and tell me you're still not a good slave when you're about to vote for your next slave master?
yes, sir.
You vote for him every what, 4 years?
Every 4 years,
You want these people to rule over you.
every 2 years if you vote in the primary.
What did General Muhammad said it, perfectly. How do you have it, you know, ingrained in your mind that you have to be Democrat or Republican? You can
What
sit,
happened to liberals?
you know what I mean? Like, you can sit there and say, I agree with Republicans. However, I don't agree with this, that, and that in Republicans, but I'm going to vote for this devil anyway.
Hey,
You're
sir.
going to say they're the lesser of two evils, but I'm going to vote for this devil anyway. Go
Look,
ahead.
two things. One is that the right wing and the left wing is a part of the same damn bird.
Right.
Two is that whatever happened to the liberals and all these other different, the imperial and all that kind of other,
Right.
you don't see them no more. It's just Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat. You don't see like liberals and what was the other ones? I can't even remember them because what they did was they got rid of them. All right. And if you don't think it's a game, look at the Crips and Bloods.
Yeah.
The only difference is, their skin color.
Yep.
When we go to the next passage, sir, the next part.
Come on, keep going.
It says, the preacher never referenced those parts in the Bible that talked about freedom and liberation of slavery, from slavery, while passages like Ephesians 6 and 5 encourage obedience and submission were emphasized. Service.
Imagine actually believing that you could have freedom and liberation from slavery. If you read the passages that talked about liberation and freedom, you would be reading passages that says God destroyed the Canaanites.
Damn
God
right.
destroyed the Egyptians.
Damn right.
God destroyed the Persians, the Babylonians, all these different nations that God destroyed so that the children of Israel could be free.
And that's heavy, sir.
You would believe that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like you're taught to be such a good Christian. You can't fathom that when Christ comes back, you could be free. That's why, like that question you brought up that you asked, you can't fathom Christ coming back and unaliving millions of people. You picture Christ coming back to hug everybody.
It's gonna be some bloody ass.
That's what's in your mind. You don't picture liberation from slavery. You don't picture freedom.
You know why, sir?
God, go ahead.
You know why? Because first, the reason why you can't, Christian mind can't fathom Christ coming back and unaliving people is because they believe, like you were saying, God love everybody.
Right.
Right. You and then you think it's gonna be, your white savior, your white golden savior in all white coming back to save your lily ass. No. You're gonna see a nigga walking, crack the sky. A nigga is gonna crack the sky. Think how glorious that is when a nigga crack the sky and is coming here to avenge his people. Because Christ is coming to avenge his people. I'm not coming to talk. Think about this. Christ's not coming to negotiate with you. He said he's come back like you live by the sword, you die by it. So guess what? Towards the end, those who live by the sword got to die by it. And Christ is coming back to avenge his people with a sword.
And you can't accept that
You cannot
When all you know from the time you're 2 weeks old, the only thing you've ever heard your parents say is John 3:16.
God love everybody.
God loves everybody. For God so loved the world. For God so loved the man raping you. Slacking. For God so loved the man sexually assaulting you. For God so loved the man whipping you. For God so loved the man who's selling you drugs and putting it in your community. For God so loved the man that bombed Tulsa, Oklahoma. For God so loved the world, that has done every abominable thing to you.
Damn right. So God said one of the men with 34 felonies in the president's seat.
That's all you're gonna quote. That's it. You've never read the next chapter that says, I pray for them, I pray not for the world. You can't even understand Christ not praying for the world. All you know is God loves the world. That's it. You don't know the Bible. You've never read the Bible.
You don't read this chapter that say, come out of her, my people.
God.
That's heavy, sir. Yeah. That right there is weighted.
Mm-hmm. God. Let's keep going.
Yes, sir. So this is the rise of the invisible church. It says, while the white controlled churches preached subjugation, many slaves sought a different message that resonated with their own hardships and spiritual needs. With strong religious conviction and a desire for connection, slaves began holding their own secret gatherings, what would later become known as invisible churches.
Now imagine, as a slave, you read, if a man leadeth into captivity, he shall go into captivity. Mm-hmm. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. If you're a slave that read that, you went to an invisible church. Mm-hmm. You went to a place that wasn't forced down your throat, John 3:16.
If you read that, and I'm paraphrasing, what's that? Matter of fact, I got to paraphrase. What's that? Revelations 2 and 9. Mm-hmm. You read Revelations 3 and 9, right? 2 and 9 and 3 and 9 both speak about, the synagogue of Satan and those people who claim that they're Jews that are not.
Right.
If you read those scriptures, you went to an invisible church. Now, we're not affiliated with the church, but you might say, Isupk is the modern day invisible church. Mm-hmm. Understand is that we're teaching you these things that the invisible churches taught you when you had to go run, duck, and hide. Right. Understand is that we do this stuff. We come out here and we teach these scriptures. The same people that hire us is looking at our Facebooks. They don't want these niggas in their plants. Right. So now you're saying, oh, such preaching that, that Israelite gospel. You're preaching that Israelite gospel, right? And you run your black ass to HR and tell them that such, that a Habawan is teaching, the Israelite gospel. God. Habawan down there teaching Israelite, he teaching that Israelite gospel. Mm-hmm. Tell them I'm preaching the truth. I'm teaching the truth. Right? Guess what? Then they fire a brother.
Right.
You the reason why I lost that job. Not because I was teaching the gospel. And understand is that this here will be considered, like I said, sir, what would you say? Would you say that in the Isupk could be considered the modern day invisible?
Absolutely.
Invisible church?
Absolutely. You know what I mean? And not even just the invisible church. The ISUPK would be the standard of an invisible church.
The outstanding invisible church.
This we would be the place that you would go to where your slave owner is going to hang you from a tree.
Mm-hmm.
If you found a ISUPK inside of a bush somewhere, just get prepared.
Get prepared. Bring your
get burned alive, fed to pigs, thrown in jail, in a hole where nobody's gonna see you again, because you are the real threat to society.
Damn right.
Let's keep going.
Okay, where was we? It said these meetings were held after long days of labor, often deep into the night. Slocky. Gathering in secluded locations, slaves would meet in the forests, in the ravines, or other hidden spots to listen to the gospel.
This is why, if you are a brother in the ISUPK trying to make a video on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, you're going to get banned. Your video is going to get taken down. The only place your black ass can share this is in a forest, somewhere in the middle of nowhere,
a ravine,
in a hidden spot, a ravine under the bridge. That's the only way that your content is not going to get messed with. That's all it is. You don't got to be offended or surprised that your Facebook account is banned. Don't be surprised. Just understand that you are a threat, a national threat to society. You are gonna go on the FBI's list, terrorist, hate group, everything, because you believe in something that will destroy society. That's all it is. You know what I mean?
Hey, sir, you didn't name the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Right. You're gonna go on the Southern Poverty Law Center because you told black people to stop selling drugs to other black people. Imagine that. because you told a Hispanic brother to never leave his wife. You're going to be labeled as a hate group. What's the common one? Your baby mama is going to take you to court and try to take your kids away from you. And they're going to tell the judge that his father doesn't let them celebrate birthdays. And she is going to believe in her head that is the most heinous crime to society. She's not going to say that my baby's dad is a drug dealer. She's not going to say my baby dad is abusive and beats me. She's going to say he doesn't let his children celebrate birthdays.
If I may, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
The statement I seen is he's become mean since he's become a Hebrew Israelite.
Yeah. he don't let me dress like a whore. God forbid a man wants you to hide your titties, hide your booty. God forbid.
Mm-hmm.
He is oppressing me.
He won't let me walk out showing that front butt.
Yeah. Nice.
For real.
Take your ass to a forest and go read the Bible. That's all we can do. That's the only place we can go in peace. Which is why every black, Hispanic, and indigenous man, you need to get down to the Passover. Houston, Texas, you need to get down there. Do not miss it. You know what I mean? We will be out there and we will read the Bible.
I go back to that $2,000 line. You know how many people get into the Passover?
God. I mean, Salagi, every time I get to the Passover, I'm secretly praying that, is this the time Christ comes? You know what I mean? Because I am desiring in my heart that Christ comes down and destroys this kingdom. That's what I want. You know what I mean? I'll go to any forest, any ravine, any bridge, under wherever in the country, just to have the possibility of being freed from this disgusting place.
Damn right, sir.
Yeah, I mean, let's keep reading. Try to get through.
Come. Excuse me. Invisible churches were designated for stealth.
Mm-hmm.
Since discovery of these meetings could result in severe punishment or death.
Or what?
Says discovery of these meetings could result in severe punishment or death. Slaves employed various strategies to muffle their sound and maintain secrecy.
Could you imagine? You're gonna get put to death for reading the Bible. Like we can talk all day about having our limbs cut off, about our eyes being burnt out, about being whipped. They would put us to death for reading the Bible. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think people understand the weight of being able to read the Bible when you were in slavery. You were such a threat to society that if you read this book, in some cases, we're going to kill you. We're going to unalive you. That's how dangerous it is for a Black, Hispanic, and Indigenous man to get this knowledge. And you should think to yourself, what is inside this goddamn book that is so important and so valuable that the leaders of America, the leaders of this society, is willing to kill, willing to put me to death for reading this book? Do you understand the effort that they're willing to go to, the length they're willing to go to, so that you don't have the knowledge of the Bible? I wouldn't be surprised, Ahabawan. Every time you look up, say, what's America's largest spendings? They probably got, automotive and oil and energy somewhere near the top of the list. Military is probably number one. I bet you what the FBI won't release is that they put the most money and effort into hiding the Bible.
Damn right.
From Blacks, Hispanics, and Indigenous.
You have to.
They probably give T.D. Jakes billions of dollars to just get up on stage and say some bullshit.
Swallowed.
You know what I mean? They're like Blacks, Hispanics, Indigenous. They're catching on, Ahabawan. We need to go put T.D. Jakes and Creflo Dollar. I don't know all the names. I couldn't tell you who's out there nowadays.
So you want to know? You want to know how much money did the FBI get T.D. Jakes to say "swallow" 7 times on stage?
God.
How much money did the FBI give T.D. Jakes to become a power bottom?
God.
Right?
They're probably getting paid. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody told them, Jay, just make sure, somewhere in your service, you say John 3:16. Don't forget John 3:16, everybody. Don't forget to eat your pork, everybody. Don't forget the Old Testament is done away with. Don't forget your slave Bible. Don't forget to love your enemies. That's in every motherfucking sermon.
Every one. Every single one. Because look, when you go to these churches, they never tell you about the truth behind the Bible. They tell you how prosperous you're going to be.
Right.
You're going to be prosperous and the government just cut off your SNAP benefits. You're going to be prosperous and the government just arrested your husband, young lady. You just arrested your husband for nothing. They just beat him out in the middle of the street and unalived him for asking for help or for carrying a Skittles bag, or for carrying a Subway sandwich. Think about the things that police unalive black men for. Subway sandwiches, right? Cell phones. I thought it was a gun. You don't know the difference between a Subway sandwich and a gun, or a cell phone and a gun. Or they asked Fernando Castillo for his ID, and they fire upon him, kill him in front of his wife and his daughter. Right? Understand this: the government is able to unalive you just because you're a nigga.
Yeah. Yep.
Proof is when one of these other nations are unalived by the these government forces, whether it be FBI, police, whatever, there is a full investigation, and whatever party is at fault is now criminalized and taken to the justice system. Right? As soon as your black ass is unalived, and when I say black, I mean all 12 tribes. As soon as one of y'all is unalived by the police, the first thing they do is bring up your goddamn record. Right? Mark Brown, walking from the store, police pull up on him, unalive him. They bring up his record.
Right.
Right. Trayvon Martin, they try to bring up his record. Tamir Rice is 12 years old, playing in the city park with a toy, and the police roll up on him and unalive him within 2 seconds, right? And look it up if you don't believe me. Within 2 seconds of them pulling up onto the scene, no investigation is done. This is the history of you, right? Following this Christian church. You take it line by line. You keep absorbing. You keep letting this pastor tell you you are prosperous and fruitful in this nation, in this land, in this society, when the Bible tells you not to partake in her.
Right.
Be removed from her. Sir, want me to continue?
Yeah, keep reading. And if we got time, I'm gonna try to play a quick video at the end of the class.
Okay.
Just to show something on Tamir Rice. That's such a heavy point that you brought up.
Hold on, sir. For example, they would place iron pots and wash pots around their gathering, with stick lifting the pot slightly off the ground. The pots help absorb the sound of their voices, allowing them to pray and preach without alerting their masters.
Now, and one point to that, a humble one. Can you give me one example of something that you would be flogged for or whipped for as a slave? Can you give me one example of a slave getting out of line?
Well, you got to understand this is that if too many slaves met up in the same spot, they was getting their ass whooped. You think about this, what's going on in today's society. You can't have, as soon as the police see 4 or 5 brothers hanging out on the corner,
right,
they roll it up on them.
Right.
Put them against the wall, stretching them out. That comes from slavery. You see 3 or 4 brothers together, the police roll up on you. In slavery, they seen 3 or 4 slaves together. Oh, that overseer was coming out with that whip. What the hell y'all doing? What y'all talking about?
Right.
They didn't want you to gather. The Bible tells us to gather ourselves together, O nation that is not desired. Right? In order for us to gather together, guess what? 2, 3 of us got to meet up. We got to start somewhere. They are oppressing you down to the fact where they won't allow 2 or 3 of you to come together, because there's a possibility you could be talking about this Bible. And if you're talking about this Bible now, you're going to go away from what the white man wants you to do.
Come.
You want me to continue, sir?
Come, let's keep going.
It says, in these meetings, chosen black preachers deliver sermons that focus on justice, hope, and liberation.
Imagine what justice looks like for a black man. Like Sonia Massey's dad, he's sitting there, praying for justice. Imagine if you read the Bible and you just read the punishments that would come for breaking God's laws. You would read a punishment that says, if you take a man's life, your life must be taken. Imagine you read things that spoke on justice. That would be such a powerful thing as a black man, especially because you have been through so much goddamn abuse. Go ahead.
If I may, sir. Imagine if Emmett Till's mother got justice.
Right.
Right? You got to understand this. It was a number of white men that dragged this little young black boy. Think about it. Emmett Till was what, 13 years old?
Right.
Dragged this young white boy, this young black boy out his uncle's house. Right? When they found him, he was castrated. He was beaten. He had a hole in his head. He was tied to some bricks with barbed wire and flung to the bottom of a river. Right? So the men that did it were acquitted. They had families. Imagine their little lily white children growing up without daddy in the household, right? Remember, they were paid to tell their story after they were acquitted. Imagine that money not going into their community, into their household. Because you got to understand, in when was Emmett Till unalive? I can't remember the year. But when he was unalive, they gave these guys $4,000. That's a lot of money then. Right? I'm gonna have to look that up, sir. Get those exact dates. That way we can see what $4,000 from that time is, what it be equivalent to today. Right? But imagine, right? Think about this. The woman who said Emmett Till catcalled her on her deathbed. She said, he never catcalled me. Right? You know what justice would look like? They'd have been like, bitch, you lied. Bah, stoned her ass. That's justice for Emmett Till. But they had to do that when she was young. Now they wait until she on her deathbed. She already gone. Sir, continue.
Come on, keep going. I'm just trying to find the video real quick.
Okay. It says, in these meetings, hold on. It says here, the Bible was not a tool of oppression, but a source of encouragement, offering vision of freedom and equality. The stories of Jesus suffering on the cross held special meaning for them, as they drew parallels between his suffering and their own daily struggles. This connection gave them comfort and a profound sense of solidarity with Christ, whom they saw as a fellow sufferer. Right? It said these churches were empowering spaces that helped enslaved Africans in the U.S. to cope with the suffering and brutality of slavery. While they prayed for freedom and deliverance, yet ironically, this hope also worked in favor of the slaveholders for some degree. The spiritual support and hope that invisible churches provided in a way prevented the slaves from succumbing to complete despair or turning to open revolt. As slaves who held on to faith were less likely to rebel. Think about that. The Bible, the slave Bible, right? And some of these, because think about it, if you had invisible churches, the white man knew about these invisible churches. So what he does is he sets up with the government, right, false invisible churches. So that's because that's what he's going to do. He's going to try to weaponize the invisible church, right? Think about like the Commander General Yohana tell you stories about how they come to him. He tell them hell no, right? Now, some purple guys took that bribe. They took that money.
That's it.
right? So you see the difference between a real invisible church and a fake invisible church,
God,
right?
that's
Because the thing about it is, they say things. These fake invisible churches, they're going to say things to get you to thinking like, wow, why would you allow your people to go through that, right? Why would you snitch on your brother that got a warrant out for his arrest for some crazy ass trumped up charges? Why would you snitch on him, right? You know these charges are trumped up. Why would you snitch on him? Christ had some trumped up charges, and Judas snitched on him. That's what that's what goes on that's what goes on, and that's how people start to create stupid beliefs and following these other so-called truth speakers. We'll leave it at that, so-called truth speakers, and they're doing nothing but lying to you. They're the same individuals that want you to worship the God of your oppressor. They're the same individuals that want you to follow the traditions and the religious aspects of your oppression. Did you find that video, sir?
Con. Yeah, yeah, let me play that video real quick.
Okay. You got it? Because I can continue with this just a little bit.
Yeah, no, let me play this video real quick. Because I want, people to understand, one of the things you had. It was such a heavy point.
Yes, sir.
Share this.
You want to explain what we seeing real quick intro for it, sir?
Con. So what you're seeing right now, this is a man who went out fishing, okay? And as he went out fishing, he is exercising his right to open carry. All right? I'll play a little more so you see it.
Mm-hmm.
How are you? What's up, bro? How's everything?
Now, if you can see right there, this man has an assault rifle mounted on his chest.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, you can see he's about to have a quote unquote civil conversation with these police officers.
Hey, do you know why I'm out here today?
Another day.
Yeah.
What's up, bro?
Right? Yeah, another day. Hey, as long as you respect my rights, I'm gonna respect you.
He says, why don't you just respect my rights to walk around with an assault rifle? Right?
Yes, sir. Hey, that reminds me the little devil that shot the two people in what's riot was that? He was like 17 years old, and he had an AK-47 or
right.
AR or something like that,
Right.
and he actually fired on 3 people and he unalived 2 of them.
That's right.
The third one was a brother that lost his leg or something like that they never brought out. They just brought out the people that he had unalive. Right? So what was that little devil's name? Anybody in the chat? Y'all know that little devil's name? Put it in the chat for me. But that's what, think about it. He was open carrying, walking up the street. And then he started to, whatever happened, he started to release rounds upon people.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm gonna give you the flip side.
Uh-huh.
Let's see what happens to a little boy with a toy gun.
Yes, sir. With the toy gun. So this young man was similar to Tamir Rice.
Oh, this is Tamir Rice.
Okay.
That was it. There's no conversation. You don't. This child isn't walking around with an AR-15 on his chest.
Mm-hmm.
But you're what? 12? What was Tamir Rice? 12 years old?
Like 12. I think he's 12 years old. 12 or 13, either one, but it's, you know, preteen.
Mm-hmm.
Preteen.
And
Sitting in the park by himself.
God,
Sitting in the park by himself, right? Playing with the toy. That you can obviously tell is a toy, man. Come on. Right? And if the American people has a problem with realistic toys, you know, these toys that look like real firearms,
God.
well, what you have to do is go against these huge suppliers of these toys like Mattel. You have to attack those individuals, not the 12-year-old boy that's playing with it.
God.
Because he got up that morning, he didn't think that this was going, you know, neither did his parents think that this is going to be his last day on earth because he has a toy. Right? And I don't believe that it was because he had a toy that resembled a firearm. I believe that it was because he's black. Because if that's the case, then you wouldn't see, like we said earlier, you wouldn't see individuals being unalived because they got Subway sandwiches and cell phones. Apparently, the police don't know what the hell a real gun is.
And the report, because they have the video of the calling for Tamir Rice.
Yes, sir.
And it's like, if you're so goddamn afraid of this child shooting you, why would you drive right beside him?
Yes, why not creep up? Hold on.
You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't have some sense to say, I don't know, there's some crazy black man in a park pointing a gun at everybody, trying to kill people, trying to unalive people. Like, did you see what they did at that school on Habawan?
Which school?
There's a child who's open fires in an elementary school. You have hundreds of police officers come to the school. Did any of them run inside and stop the shooter?
No.
They did. Did a police officer drive a Jeep through the school into the building and open fire on this child?
Not at all.
Nobody ran in and killed him. If you had teachers trying to save kids before the police did.
Yes.
But for some reason in this case, there's not an ounce of fear in your body to pull up right beside him. There's not an ounce of fear in your body to drive right beside the shooter and roll your window down. Not an ounce of fear. This is exactly how they treat our people.
Hey, sir, you know, of the police do not fear unarmed individuals, right? Think about this. The people that have guns, the police don't roll up on their ass.
Yeah.
You ever see them roll up on a dope dealer that's armed to the T? No. They kick in the dope houses with the people who ain't got guns.
Right.
They always go in, they arrest everybody or whatever, or they have, you know, whatever little spat they have, go in and break everybody's jaws and legs and shit. right? And what's so heavy about the video with Tamir Rice is that you got other videos that we've seen where there were little Edomites. Remember the girl and the boy, the 14 and 12-year-old? They had the shotgun and the long gun, and they were firing at the police. And the police said, "We're going to stand down until they run out of bullets." And then you had the two little Edomite boys that was sitting on the side of the garbage can shooting at the police, right? And they were able to talk them down. They said not a word to Tamir Rice. They didn't say a word to him. Because I'm sure him being 12 years old, they were like, "Hey, put down the gun." He'd be like, "It's just a toy." Right? This right here, whenever the police pull up on black men, what's the first thing they do?
First thing they do, hands up. They throw you on the
up.
car. They're going to throw you on the car, throw you on the floor. They ain't, you know what I mean? Because we're such a threat to society. You know what I mean? But so like I'll digress because we over the time.
You want to take us out, sir? And I handle the other side?
God, no sweat. I understand. For water, everybody for tuning in. You know, shout out to the last people jumping in the chat. Aisha Banath, Kalaya Kwar, Tawanda, Aisha Banath, Yahweh, Shamar, Latha Bashim El Shai, and again to the brothers, Yahweh Bashim El Shai Brakatha. The water for everybody tuning in. Again, make sure you hit that like button, like, share, subscribe, and please start making your preparations to make it down to the Passover. I would love to see all my family out there. All right. With that, I say shalom.